Hello everyone. This webinar is going to be on how to stay VAT compliant with Zoho Books. I am Bala from Zoho Books and I take care of marketing of Zoho Finance applications in the Middle East. Many of you are already users of Zoho Books and other Zoho applications, and we have also got a few more new users now in this webinar who have connected with us today. And let's go into the session. Before we start, I have one more thing to add to you. So that is regarding an account for Zoho Books. So if you have a Zoho account already, you can just open zoho.com/books in a new tab in your browser. So this will take you to the home page, and you can sign up for a free trial there, and you can use that throughout this webinar. So this free trial will be there for 14 days, and you can use the free trial for all your business operations, and we'll give you all the features and modules that we give in the highest paid plan for free for 14 days for you to use. So today we'll be taking you through the presentation, and we'll be asking you to create some transactions after showing how to create them in our product. So in my screen, you'll be seeing me creating certain transactions, and I'll just ask you to mirror that at your end, and you can try that at your end. And if you have any questions, you can raise that right away in our chat section, and we'll be there to answer that as well. Also, in the meantime, if you'd like to get all your doubts clarified, you can use this Zoho account for that as well. So if you haven't if you haven't signed up for a free trial so far, please go to zoho.com/books and sign up for a free trial. Once you do that, you will be taken to a page where you will have to enter your organization's details, and you'll just get it. You'll just get redirected to the product. Let me show you signing up for a free trial. So if you haven't done that, please join me in doing one. So let us create a new organization now. So here I'm going to zoho.com/books. So I'm gonna start my free 14-day trial now. So here you'll have to enter your company name. Let me enter a test company here. So since I already have an organization, I'm going with the test one now, and I can have a test email address, and I have to enter a contact number as well, a password, yes, and I'm choosing UAE. You can choose one of your countries, and yes, I'll agree and create an account. So that's all it takes to create an account, and it will create a new organization, and you'll be taken into the organization. And while you're entering this organization, you'll have to enter a few more details regarding your VAT registration, and regarding the integrations and features that you would like to have in Zoho Books. You can either do that while creating the organization, or you can do that later as well. So let me just take you through this. I'm going to select my industry. Maybe I'm doing construction business, for example. So I'm selecting that here, and these are the address and other fields are not mandatory except the Emirate. So since I have chosen UAE, I am choosing one of the Emirates here, and I'm saving this and continuing now. So these are going to be the mandatory fields, and if you are already registered for VAT, you can select yes and enter the details here and choose next. Otherwise, you can do that later. So I'll just skip this setup. Skip this setup for now. And once you do this, you will be entering into this Zoho Books dashboard. So this will take you to the dashboard. And for now, I have another organization which I have the details already. So I'm taking that for now, but you can use this new organization to mirror my actions there at your end. So let us go into today's session. I don't think if you have any questions. So if you have any questions, please ask them forward and we can answer that, and we can dive in. Otherwise, I'll dive in and my colleagues will answer your questions. So this is going to be today's agenda. Uh, Staying VAT compliant is going to be our ultimate goal, and we have a pathway for that goal. So this pathway is going to be introducing Zoho Books to you, and you can know how you can use Zoho Books to stay VAT compliant. And I'll after me showing you around, you can have an hands-on experience as well with Zoho Books. And then finally, I'll be giving you a recap of this entire session, and you can take all the tips and experience from this session, and you can go ahead and use Zoho Books. So that's going to be today's agenda, and the ultimate goal is going to be staying VAT compliant. So what is Zoho Books? Zoho Books is FTA and GACT approved VAT compliant accounting software. It lets you send invoices, reconcile bank transactions, manage expenses, track inventory, and generate insightful reports effortlessly. So this is the textbook definition of what Zoho Books is. But let us be clear. Zoho Books is a VAT compliant accounting software that is approved by UAE, KSA, and Bahrain now. And since the VAT implementation is not yet being done in the other countries, we have editions for them as well. But the VAT features are yet to arrive in those editions. Otherwise, we have the editions ready, and Zoho Books is VAT ready for all these editions of all these 6 editions of GCC. And we are starting with taking UAE, KSA, and Bahrain as examples. So we are approved there, and we have all the features that are necessary to send invoices, manage your purchases, let it be expenses or your vendor bills, or managing your bills of entry, or having your reverse charge mechanism in place. Everything is here, and you can also track your inventory and take insightful reports whenever necessary, along with VAT filing. So you can have the VAT returns report ready in Zoho Books, which you can use at any point of time for your VAT filing. Just generating it here, taking the values, and feeding them in your tax authorities portal, and do your filing right away. So that's Zoho Books for you. And let's go into the features. So this gives you a broad view, a bird's eye view of what are the features with Zoho Books. We obviously will start with invoicing, which is the starting point of various businesses. So with invoicing, we have all the sales related features, and we have purchase related features like purchase orders, vendor bills, etc. And we have inventory management, full-fledged inventory management in Zoho Books. And we also have Zoho Inventory, which is a advanced inventory managing software, which is a topic for a later day. But now with Zoho Books, we have basic inventory management and expense management as well. Along with that, you can manage your projects and timesheet. Consider you're working on a timely basis, and you like your employees to log time worked, and you'll be invoicing your customers based on the time you worked. In that case, we have a projects and timesheets module in Zoho Books. We have banking module, which can help you to link your bank or credit card account with Zoho Books and get your feeds automatically fetched, and you can do your bank reconciliation as well with Zoho Books. And along with that, we have insightful reports, and VAT compliance is going to be the life in the entirety of all the modules of Zoho Books. Without VAT compliance, there is no module in Books. You can have all your VAT related features and guidelines followed by default in all these modules, along with VAT returns report, which is part of the reports module in Books. Let us show you one by one. And before that, we'll just take a business scenario. So this is a typical business scenario which can use Zoho Books. So I have just taken an example here, and you can just follow this entire process through the eyes of this business scenario. And if you would like your business to use this, you can try that. And if you have different use cases, you can bring them to us, and we can guide you accordingly. We have helped with the onboarding of a lot of businesses with different use cases, but this is going to be just an example. So Abdul's Cameras is our camera retail business, and I've taken 3 sample items from Abdul's inventory, which is the main camera unit, the battery, and the tripod. So these 3 are going to be our items today, and we'll create them during the course of our presentation. And Abdul is registered for VAT, So what is the expectation of Abdul here? Abdul is registered for VAT. He wants to manage his sales, purchases, inventory, expenses, and he wants to file the VAT returns as well from Zoho Books. So he wants all these features to be at one place. So that's where Zoho Books comes in. So let's go in. So let's have a flow diagram for this business. So whatever be your business, we have to start with the flow diagram and we have to map that with the features of the software that we use. So we will consider this flow. So the sales starts with giving an estimate, and once the estimate is accepted by the customer, the sales order is being issued by Abdul. Sales order is the official confirmation of this sale, and after sales order, it is converted into an invoice. Before that, the goods are already been shipped, and along with the shipment of the goods, the invoice will also be given to the user. And after the invoice is being generated and sent to the customer, they will be paying for this invoice. So you can receive payments either online or offline with Zoho Books. We have necessary integration for that as well. And this is going to be the sale process. And when it comes to purchase, it starts with purchase order. And once the purchase order is sent by Abdul, actual shipment of goods comes from the supplier along with the supplier bill. So you can record that supplier bill here, and inventory will be added to Zoho Books. And after that, Abdul will have some operational and non-operational expenses which are to be added, and that can also be done. And once the sale and purchase cycle is done for so many consecutive days or months, there comes a VAT filing period. In that case, he can just generate a new VAT returns report here, and he'll have to file that to FTA or GACT or any authority. So that is going to be the flow of the business. Knowing this, let's go into the business now. First of all, as I have already told you, you would have already created an organization in Zoho Books now. If someone, I can see some people who have joined new now. So for them, please go to zoho.com/books and create a 14-day free trial, and you'll have an organization just like, yes. So you will have an organization just like this. You will be seeing the dashboard here, and this is the dashboard of Zoho Books actually. So you will have your receivables and payables shown here, and all the key features that you would like to know from your business in one place. So this is an organization created by Abdul for his business. So this is a camera business, and let's show Abdul how he can be VAT compliant using the transactions in Zoho Books. So this starts with the organization profile. Organization profile is the first step. For that, you go to the top right corner and click the settings, select organization profile. So this will give the basic details about the org, and he can enter the details here along with address and other details, including the logo of the organization. So he can do that, and he can go ahead and save this profile. Once that is done, he'll have to check the VAT settings. So we have checked the VAT settings right when we created this organization. But if not, you can go to the taxes column here and select settings, and here you can check this yes and enter your TRN number and other details here, your tax registration number, VAT registered date, and the first VAT tax return date. You'll have to enter these details and the reporting period. This can be custom or monthly, so you can choose that as well and click save. Once this is done, the next thing is with users and roles. So now you have your organization, your basic details, and your VAT settings. So I hope you're mirroring me right now at your end. So if not, please continue from now. You have to have your basic details and your VAT settings. Please go to settings and enter these details. After that, you'll have to add the users and roles. For now, you need not have these added right now. You need not mirror this now. You can do this later. But I'm just telling you the initial process that Abdul's business should follow to proceed to the transactions. So in users and roles, he can add the users from the company Abdul is running, and in roles, we already have some default roles. Other than that, you can create new role. and give them role-based access. You can have these checked or unchecked, and you can give them access. Once this role is created, you can invite new people to this particular role, and you can have them use the product. So this is with the users and roles. And after that, we have the templates and language. So now you have your organization, your tax settings and users ready. So if in order to create a transaction, you need to set certain templates that are going to be common and the default for all your transactions to use whenever you create one. So in that case, you go to templates here. Here, and you can select invoices or any transaction that you want, and you can create a new template. So we have certain templates that are already VAT compliant, and they also follow all the guidelines by the tax authorities, and you can use one of these. And we already have options for you to use this and select different languages. We support Arabic as well, and you can choose this and you can have a template in Arabic. Otherwise, we also support Arabic as the entire UI language instead of English. We have both English and Arabic editions, and you can choose that as well in your settings and change that at any point of time. So after that, we have your products, customers, and vendors. So now you have your entire setup ready, and you will have to add the system on how what you're going to sell and to whom you're going to sell, and from whom you're going to purchase those items. In that case, we'll have to take you to the next step. Here, let's take you to the next step. Here we have a task in hand. So we have to create an item, and we have to create a vendor and customer. So for that, let's just end this settings and basic setup part here, and let's go into the items module. So in the dashboard, in your left pane, you will find items, and within that you have a sub item, I mean subheading saying items. You can get in there, and this is going to be the space where you create and manage your items. If you can see, I have some cameras created already, but you have to create a new item. You click the new button at the top right, and you can enter a name. Maybe I'm creating a tripod here, and you'll have to enter the sales and purchase information. Let the the sales selling price be 380, and the purchase price is 260.80, for instance. And I have the accounts associated already, and we have the inventory tracking enabled for this item, and I'm selecting a particular account for inventory. And let us have a opening stock added already, and opening stock rate per unit. If you hover over this, you can know what it is. It is the rate at which you bought each unit of your opening stock. So this 10, I have bought it for 260 each. I'm entering that here, and I'm saving this item. So right now we have just witnessed how to create an item. So this is how you can create an item. And after this, we can create a sale, a customer and vendor. Once you go and create a customer, you can go to the sales section, select customers, and click plus new at the top right, and enter a value for the name, and let us select the contact display name. This is the name that gets displayed in all the transaction that you create for this customer. And then comes the important point. So if you are tax registered, and if you are in one of the countries that have implemented VAT already, there is certain thing called tax treatment. So here, if you can see, we have several tax treatments here based on the place of supply and the tax registration status of your customer. So if the customer is VAT registered, you can go ahead and select the VAT registered here. Otherwise, if the customer is VAT registered but he or she is outside the GCC region, you can choose that here. So similarly, we have several things, and uh, you have the explanation for each and every tax treatment here. You can go ahead and choose one. If you select VAT registered, it will obviously ask for the tax tax registration number. So let us go ahead and enter one, and I'm selecting a place of supply. Let me select it as Abu Dhabi. And so this is going to be the place of supply. So here, don't mistake me. I'm just taking it as a example. So this is a UAE organization that I'm using, but you might be from a different GCC country. The options are going to be same, but you will just have to use your country's details, and you can use that. And for VAT in implemented countries, you will have these VAT fields. Otherwise, you just won't find these VAT fields. Otherwise, the interface is going to be similar. And the next thing here is with currency. Currency is a very important setting that you'll have to make for your customers. If you have a customer from the US, and you are selling them in USD, and you're sending them invoices in USD, you'll have to select USD here. Otherwise, you'll have to select your currency here. This is the only currency in which all the transactions will get created for this customer. So you should be very careful while creating the customer on selecting the currency. And the exchange rates will be applied in those transactions based on the currency that you select. You can add the exchange rate, and you can get the exchange rate gain or loss report later, which is automated. So you can have the system to monitor your exchange rates based on the things that you add while you create transactions. And I can just go ahead and save that customer now. So now you have witnessed me creating an item and a customer, and you have also seen the VAT treatment and the VAT fields that appear when we create a customer. So similarly, you can go to purchases, vendors section, and you can click new and follow the same steps to create a vendor. Now we have a task for you. You have to create an item, and then you'll have to create a vendor. Okay, maybe not a vendor and customer, a vendor or a customer. You can create one. And if you feel that you have any doubts, or if you have any problem while creating these, we'll be here to answer you. So you can raise your questions in the questions tab to your left, or you can also chat with us in the chat section, so that we will be answering them right away. And here is, I have a stopwatch here, and let us give you 3 minutes for creating the task. So let's wait for 3 minutes. Go to items module first, create an item, and your time has started and it's already running now. So create an item, and if you have any doubts, we are here to assist you. Items module, new button at the top right, and you can click that. You enter the name of the item, any unit that you would like to follow for the item, and then the sales and the purchase information, the price, account. Account is where this item affects whenever you create a transaction involving this item. And then there is purchase information, the same thing repeated. And then you have the track inventory option. Track the inventory for that item, enter a opening stock, and the price at which the item is bought. That's it. You have created an item. I hope you are trying it at your end. Now, after this is done, you can go ahead and create a customer in sales section, customer. So once you go to sales section and customers, click new, and you have got 1 more minute now. And I'm speaking here to engage you while you create these transactions. So you can go there and create a customer, and you can enter the name, select the display name, and the VAT treatment of this customer. If it is not a VAT registered customer, just go ahead and select it. Otherwise, VAT treatment with VAT registered selected, and you can add the TRN for that customer. And that's it. You can just go ahead and save the customer. So once this is done, we'll just go to the next step. I hope there is still 30 seconds for you to finish this task. If you have any questions, just quickly raise that in the chat section or in the questions tab. We are here to answer you right away. So otherwise, we'll just go to the next step. And while if you can see this slide, I mentioned something about a red colored field. All the red colored fields are mandatory. For example, VAT treatment, contact display name, and the place of supply. All these are going to be mandatory. You just have to enter the mandatory fields, and you can just go ahead and choose the VAT treatment, and save the contact. So that's it. We have created an item and a customer, and I hope you have created that. And if you are facing any issues, just put a question, and we'll answer them right away or at the end of the session. So let's go ahead with the session now. And we have come into the sales section now. So after have created the items and the customers, we have come into the sales. And just like we explained earlier, we have a sales flow to follow. Abdul is very keen about having a particular flow followed throughout his sales cycle, and he wants the same to be implemented in Zoho Books. So for example, he has a flow that starts with creating an estimate, and then once the customer accepts the estimate, there'll be a sales order, which is the actual confirmation of the sale that is given to him by the customer. Or you can just have a sales order step recorded in Zoho Books itself. And after that, Abdul ships his cameras and other items to the customers, and he'll send them an invoice. So this invoice should also be recorded in Zoho Books, and the customer will have certain period of time for them to pay for this invoice. Once that is done, they'll be sending them an online payment or an offline payment. We have certain payment gateway integrations, and the customers can pay them with credit cards or any local payments like Sadat, Mada, or KNet or Omannet, and they can pay them, and you can get that as well. Otherwise, they can just record offline payments as well. So this is with the traditional flow. And Abdul has also got a shop, and he'll be giving retail bills to the customers. In that case, he'll have this small printer which you can use to enter retail invoices and give the customer. So in that case, he can just create a retail invoice and send it to the customers. We have options for that as well. So let us show Abdul how we can implement all these in Zoho Books. So let's start with estimates. So for estimates, we'll go to the sales section, and we'll go to estimates. So this page will show you the estimates that have already been created. But here we are going to create a new estimate and show Abdul how he can use this. So I have to select a customer. I'm selecting the same customer that I created right away. And we have this place of supply, which is automatically populated from the customer that I created. And if you can see here, we have the tax, which is automatically populated based on the customer play and the place of supply and the VAT treatment that I gave for the customer, which is VAT registered, which gets showed here. And I haven't added any address. If I had added something like that, it'll get shown here. And otherwise, you can just go ahead and choose the items that Abdul is selling. So he's selling a camera and a tripod. We can choose that. We can search with the name and a tripod. The quantity is the stock on hand is 10, and I'm going to Abdul is going to sell 3 quantity, and it is going to be the unit price and the total with the standard rate applied, and 1 tripod which is 300, and the standard rate is applied. So now I've verified everything, and I'll just go ahead and save this as a draft. Abdul will have to approve all the transactions that his employees create for him. In that case, he can send it for approval and get it approved. And we have not enabled that here, but if so, you can just enable that in the settings and get it approved. And after it is approved, it is sent to the customer. You can use this email button at the top right, and you can email this to the customer. Or for now, I'm just marking this as sent. For example, consider your customer is present right away there, and he's getting the estimate, and he's just signing the estimate there, approving the same. In that case, you'll just convert this into invoice right away and give them the goods. Otherwise, you ship them and send the invoice to them right away. In that case, you can just go ahead and convert this to invoice from this button here. Otherwise, if you are going to convert this into a sales order, you have a button for that as well. But the process is going to be same. So I'm converting it into an invoice here. So this is why this shows you the fields that should be carried over from estimates to invoices. So I'm just going to check all these from here and save and continue. Once this is done, you will see the invoice creation page. If you can see, the module has been changed to invoice at the left, and you have this creation page, and all the details have been populated automatically, including the items that you sell from the estimate. So Abdul is very happy seeing this, and he just have to verify all these details here, and he'll have to add a few more details as well. So there is this salesperson closing date and expiry date which can be added here, and there is this due. He can give them 15 days time for paying this invoice. So you can just select that here and save this as draft. So here the invoice has been saved as draft, and now if I go to the items module, I'm just opening that in a new tab for us to compare. So if I go to the items module, the stock in hand in these items for which I have created an invoice are going to remain the same till now, since we haven't sent this invoice to the customer. So if I go to sorry, not that, and 1 minute, I'll just open the items module here. So if I go to Canon 300D, the opening stock is 10, stock in hand is still 10, and the tripod is opening stock is 10, stock on hand is 10. But if I come to the invoice that I created, and it is consider it is approved now, it is not in a draft status anymore. I'm just going to send this to the customer. Once this is done, if I go to the same item now and Canon 300D, you will have the stock on hand to be 7 since 3 is sold now, and in tripod as well you'll have it as 9 since 1 is sold. So this is totally automated, and you will find the inventory to be updating in real time. And after that, I'll come to the same invoice. Okay, so here we have sent the invoice. Consider Abdul has received the payment from the customers. In that case, he can record offline payment. If it is an online payment, it will get recorded automatically, and the payment will be against this invoice, and you can see that in this page. Now I'm going to record an offline payment here, and this is the amount that I received, and I'm going to, there is no bank charges involved, and I'm depositing it to my bank account. So these are the bank accounts that Abdul has added already in his company. So I'm using one of those accounts to deposit this amount. So I'm depositing it to the Mashreq Bank feed, and I'm going to record the payment. So that's it with invoice creation and payments recorded. Now, if you scroll down, you will see a journal summary, which will show you the journals that are affected by this transaction. So you can create one, and you can check this as well. So now we have completed the sales transaction as well. So we have created an estimate. We can convert it into sales order and then convert it into invoice, or straight away convert it into invoice, and then you can record a payment against that invoice. So that's it with the sales process of Abdul. Now we have a task for you. This is the task that we are going to give you, and we are going to give you 5 minutes for you to create this transaction. So you just have to go and you've started the time now. The time is running, and you can go ahead and create one. You can go to your sales section and create an estimate, or maybe you can straight away go ahead and try creating one invoice. So as after the previous task, you will have your item, your customer, and vendor ready, and you are eligible to create a transaction in Zoho Books. So you come here, you can go to sales, invoices. Once you're opening this page, you will find a create new invoice button, or plus new button at the top right, and you can just choose that button, and you can enter the details and create one. You can create this with selecting a customer, then the basic details about the invoice date. You can also auto generate the invoice date later you have a small change to be done there with selecting the gear icon near that, and you can try that later. But for now, you can just enter a invoice number there, because it's an invoice that you are sending to your customers. You'll have to have some invoice number which is unique to this invoice. So you can enter that there, and you can have your payment terms selected. After that, you can select a salesperson from your company. But this, since you are using a new organization, you will not have any salesperson set up already. So you can go ahead and select the dates there. And we have already have got 2 minutes done. You just have 3 minutes remaining, and you'll have to come down and choose the items. You would have created one item earlier in the previous task. You can use that item here. Otherwise, after selecting that item, if you'd like to have another item, which is like a shipping charge or a transportation fees that you would like to add to this invoice, you can go ahead and type there manually, and you can add that as well. Let me show you that. So let me create a new invoice here. And once you scroll down, you can have one of these already existing item, and other than that, you can type the fees that you would like to add here, and let the fees be 90 dirhams, for example. So I'm adding that here. Sorry, that's a quantity. I'm so sorry. I'll have the quantity as 1 and 90 dirhams. Once that is done, it will have it added, and tax will also be applied. If you don't want to select tax for that, you can just have it as zero rated, and you can go ahead and save this transaction. So I hope there is no problem with creating a transaction now with Zoho Books, the sales transaction, for example, and we have the purchases, that is the next section. And now, after you have created, you can go to your item in items table, and you can check the stock updated there, just like how I showed you. And you can see the accounts that are affected at the bottom of the invoice once you have created one. So this invoice creation will reduce the stock automatically once you have sent this to the customer, and you can have your payments recorded, and it will affect your bank account as well, which is useful for the bank reconciliation purpose. And this invoice that you created will be considered for the VAT filing, and when you do that, you'll get this used there as well. So yeah, we have got this 5 minutes time done now, and I hope this task was useful enough for you. So now you have your items, contacts ready, and you know how to create a transaction in Zoho Books as well.